In this DBArtisan XE lesson, we'll take a look at the Utilities menu and an overview of the Tools menu. No demo of DBArtisan XE would be complete without a mention of the general utilities and tools that are available across all of the supported platforms. Let's take a look at those right now. Let's connect to our SQL Server instance as well as our Sybase instance, and we'll walk through some of the additional features. So let's take a look here in our Tools menu. We have a Find in Files option, which will do just that. It will look for strings within files. A database search utility that, when invoked, walks us through the steps. To highlight a data source, we can go into the specific database. Let's uncheck those and select GIM only. Press Next. We can look for these specific object types. Let's look in. Let's look in the procedures. We'll look for the table broker, the word broker. Press Finish, and it will run. And here is our result set. So here, highlighted with the blue color, is every instance of the word broker that is found by the database search. On the left side is our procedure we're looking in. We can select the other procedure. We'll take it down from here. We have a client select procedure using the word broker in it as well. So the database search quickly returns those sets of the places where it is found within the database. Again, we'll look at script execution facility. Here you're able to run a script. We'll select one right now, and we can script it. Here we can point to the targets, only connected data sources, and this knows that it's connected against Sybase, so it's only going to show our connected Sybase. If we want to look at all the DBMS types, we can look at this. So let's take a look. Run it against our SQL Server and Sybase. We can go ahead and select then the default database we'd like to run it against. We'll go against GIM on both. We'll target our output, a graphical output, results one window per target. If we went to a file output, we'd be able to specify the exact location of the file. Notification, we can go ahead and do a quick email if we'd like, and then finally we can execute. And here are the results set. So in this situation, we ran it against the SQL Server database, and we had a count of 23. Ran it against the Sybase database, and we had another count of 23. So this matched up. So I used the script execution facility to validate my database and the table counts. File execution, very similar to the script execution, except we're pointing to a file now, a saved SQL file. Scheduler works with the integration with the Windows Task Scheduler. Visual diff allows us to select either a file or database object as a source and a target, and then we can run a compare and it will pinpoint the exact differences. The query builder and the data editor we went over already. We also have the table and index size estimator, a wizard-driven approach to estimating table sizes and index sizes. We step back, look at some more. We can import data. This is a nice little utility that we have that allows you to bring in a tab delimited, a delimited file or an Excel spreadsheet, and bring that in and take a look and map that to a table, and then step through the wizard and it will create insert statements for that information, for that data, to put it into a table. ODBC administrator, we do connect via ODBC in certain instances. Performance Center, that is an installed Embarcadero product, so any installed Embarcadero product that DBArtisan finds, it will show on this menu in the Tools menu. SQL Plus is a direct link to invoke the SQL Plus utility from Oracle. Code Workbench, we talked a little bit about earlier. That's our ability to do the settings, the auto replace, and the replace substrings. We also have then from the tools the ability to customize. So here is where we can go through the Tools menu if we'd like to do one. For instance, I use DSEdit quite a bit from Sybase. So I'll create an entry there. The command is simply going to be DSEdit. No arguments, no initial directory. So there it is, it's saved. We'll close there. And when I close, we'll show you exactly what we do. So here we have the toolbars. We can go ahead and enable or disable specific toolbars that we want to show up. In the options, we can show screen tips. The visual style we can select. We can also go to the keyboard layout. and actually specify hotkeys for specific functions within the product. So we'll close this and we'll go back here and show you that it indeed brought DSEdit into my tools option, my tools menu drop down. So I can customize that as I'd like to invoke. I can open up a browser through there and pull up a specific platform's documentation if needed, or really the sky's the limit as to what you like to do there. Then I want to talk about the utilities menu. From a database perspective, we're going to limit the utilities to those utilities specific to the platform that is selected. So in this situation, I have selected a Sybase 15 data source. So here are my utilities. We talked about the top three before: the schema extraction, migration, and publication. We also have a data load and unload facility to use with Sybase. We have a database monitor. We showed that earlier when we were talking about the session and performance information. We have a database manager, we have a database backup and restore, and then we have resource limits. If I drop this down and select another data source, we'll select my local Oracle data source. Here we'll look at the utilities menu and we get a completely different set. Though the first three are the same, actually the first six, with load and unload, database monitor, we now have the export and import facility with Oracle, as well as these other options: the archive activity, the backup, that you can back up the control file, chain row analysis, and free space, instance configuration, the extent limits, pin code, resource cost, session information, and top sessions, all from within the utilities menu. So again, the tools and the utilities menu, two very powerful features within DBArtisan that certainly you don't want to overlook when you're using the product and invoke it as part of your daily routine.